Mayor Pro Tem, you have enough for quorum.
All right, let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any changes to the agenda tonight?
No changes, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, then we will go ahead and start with a special presentation.
Hi, good evening. Dean Rummel, Executive Director, Carbon Valley Parks and Recreation. Thanks for having me. Backwards. Perfect. Thank you. Backwards for when I screw up. Thanks for getting me on the agenda tonight. I know there's a lot going on, so I appreciate the time. I just wanted to come. I haven't been here for a little bit and make sure you knew who I was in my face, and then give you just an update of what we have going on, and more specifically how we're serving Frederick right now. And some hopes of continuing to kind of grow and serve even more in the future. So please ask questions as we go. Just want to talk a little bit about us and then get into what we've been up to. So we currently have 3 main facilities, where our main facility being the Recreation Center, which just lives down the street from us here in Frederick, 55,000 square foot recreation center. Right across the street from there is our gymnastics center. And some work we did last year in the opening of the community center, the old town hall of Firestone. Now the gymnastics center is 100% the gymnastics center. So we were able to do some minor remodeling in there as the senior center, senior room relocated to the community center. And gymnastics moved into that space and made it their preschool gymnastics area to utilize the square footage as they are growing beyond the walls of what they had before as well. And then the community center, we opened the community center in January of this year. Again, it was transformation of Firestone's old town hall. They're kind of behind Safeway off of Grant Avenue, and we completely gutted the inside and remodeled it all the way to the exterior, and some work out in the parking lot. And it pretty much serves, we call it community center because it serves as more than just a senior center. It is the senior center Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But we have some of our adult yoga classes in there before 8 a.m. and our dance program utilizes a space after 4 o'clock in the evening. And then there's actually a nice rentable space in that facility as well, with a catering kitchen and up to 120 people around round tables we can fit in that space. There isn't really a space like that that can, we've had different services, funeral services, different parties in there so far. So we felt it was more than just a senior center. So that's why the name community center is on that. I'll get to some numbers here in a bit. So I just want to talk about our growth over the years. We are 40 plus years old now. I know we look great for being 40, but we are 40 plus years old. Back in 1983 was the original vote of the Carbon Valley community to make us a district, make us a special district within our boundaries, where we pretty much serve most of Frederick, Firestone, and Dacono, and some of the rural areas outside of there. Back then, the population was just over 4,000 people. So those people thought, there is a need for our service and we should exist. Through that transformation, the first original rec center was built in 1987. I like to refer to it as like the Saved by the Bell rec center. It was about half a gym. If you've been in the rec center where the locker rooms currently are, that was the size of the pool. And that's about it. There's a little room off the front, but there wasn't much to it. But again, back then for 4,500 people in the community, it was what they needed. It was still really, really nice. In 2004, the current rec center was to the voters. It was approved. It was put on bond, and built / remodeled to what it is today pretty much. We've done a lot of renovations and upgrades in the last 5-6 years to the rec center, but pretty much the shell, the bones of that rec center back in 2004 was approved and built. Again, I just want to keep an eye on the population growth through these kind of time periods. So 15,000 residents in the Carbon Valley when that rec center was built. 2010 was when the Gymnastics and Senior Center was built across the street from the rec center that I spoke about earlier. We turned 40 in 2013. Right now in 2024, we're sitting at about 43,000 residents. The screen's behind me too. So that was 180% growth pretty much inside the same building, pretty much inside the same square footage of what we have now. Just that pretty large growth of what we're trying to do within those same walls. Again, we've done some things. The community center was a huge help last year, a really, really big help to serve more of the senior population. Note that in 2019, the bond for the rec center was paid off. So that mill levy went away from our tax-paying basis taxes. So in 2019, that was paid off. So since the current rec center was built, we've had a growth of almost 28,000 people in the community. So here's just some numbers. These are 2023 numbers out of our annual report. As you read these numbers, I'm going to just say some numbers that aren't on the screen here. So out of these numbers in 2023, 5% were out of district, so non-district residents. 11% were from the city of Dacono boundaries, 39% from the Firestone boundaries, and 45% from Frederick boundaries, pretty much addresses. That's how we pulled that. So we had almost 183,000 humans came through the front doors and either paid the drop-in fee or scanned because they already had a membership. We kind of take that number and inflate it by about another 20% or so, because that's not counting all the parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters that show up every Saturday for a basketball day, or swim lessons or volleyball. That is the people coming through the front door with either a membership or paying to come in that day, not those off things. If you've been there on a Saturday, it's crazy when basketball is happening or volleyball. So, over 200,000 humans' bodies coming through those front doors in 2023. Group fitness participants, 25,000. Youth sports, almost 3,000 kids signing up and registering in our youth sports, pushing upwards to 5,000 in gymnastics. So as you can see, we are having the bodies through those doors again. People are using us. There is a huge need and desire for us in this community. Before I go to the next slide, I do just want to talk about that community-centered transformation. We were seeing about 5,000 seniors coming into the old senior room. I can't even call it a senior center. It's a senior room attached to the gymnastics center is really what it was. And now we're seeing that almost a week at the new building, between the classes we have over there, the drop-in, just the socialization, the different events. So just expanding the square footage that the senior population alone was able to utilize has almost quadrupled what we're seeing over there of the seniors coming in. It's quite remarkable. If you haven't been over, please stop in and just take a look at that building and see what how we transformed it last year. And if you were ever in Firestone's Town Hall and remember how it was when Town Hall was there, it's pretty cool to see. So value adds to the town of Frederick. I already spoke to our gymnastics center and primary rec center are here right in downtown, a bookend of downtown Frederick, being an anchor for this community. We truly believe we are an anchor for the community, just like the schools are as well. The quality of life with endless benefits, we've grown over 20% in the last 2 years alone. 16,000 visits per month at the current rec center, and those are those scans again that I talked about, not just the people coming in to watch. So I guess we're short of about 49% of our registrations being from Frederick. I had my note wrong when I wrote it down. We have a great IGA with the town right now, and within that IGA is usage and memberships to the rec center. Our fitness coordinator has done a couple of different sessions with, I believe, his public works staff, and trying to work on the wellness program for the staff as well. So that was actually, it was the first one that we did with that caveat written in the IGA, and we've copied that with our other towns as well, and it's working really, really well. We are the main activation of a lot of the town parks for our programming. Centennial Park is a huge part of our programming for soccer and our outdoor sports. Things we're thinking about for the future is one of our goals moving forward is to try to have a facility within 10 minutes of 95% of our residents of our tax base. So 10-minute drive within 95%. Take some pressure off the current rec center. We keep it extremely clean. It's safe. It's updated, but it is a lot of people coming through there. So, the more people through, just the harder we are on the machines and equipment and the restrooms and the locker rooms and the pool. So really want to take some pressure off of that one because it's just bursting at the seams. Expand current facilities to maximize potential. We've been looking at and have proposal on how can we still get more square footage out of our landlocked facility down here at the end of the road. So, and then future partnerships, working with staff on, what's the future maybe look like at Frederick Recreation Area? What's the future maybe look like for the future of Centennial Park or other parks that are becoming on as developments are happening? We want to be at the table of not only being there to help support what's going on, but have our heads with town staff and town leaders of, what's our vision for this park, or how can we do this together, or can we take this grass and turn it turf with some extra funding, or go for different grants together. So we want to be at the table like we currently are. I think I lost. Thanks. Just these next two, just pulling some things off the Frederick Downtown Development Study. Let's see if this goes. Oh, there we go. Right, and again, just showing we are such an important part of Frederick Downtown. Even though we're off of this map by an alleyway, we sit right at the end of it and bring all those people. If they're not already here, they're coming into Frederick and being right on the edge of all this stuff happening with downtown businesses and the other end cap that's being built right now. We just truly feel like we are such a part of Frederick. I hope you have seen, because that means we've done our job over the last few months, that I'm not here to talk much about a ballot initiative or an issue or a yes or a no. I would like to just take a couple minutes to show that we are proposing for a new outdoor pool aquatics facility and an activity center / kind of like field house type facility up in Central Park and Firestone. So these stars are showing you our two main facilities right now, the rec center and gymnastics area. The star just to the north of it being the Active Adults and Community Center there in Firestone, Old Town Hall. And then the most north star being where Central Park is in Firestone. And that is what's going to be on the ballot in November, is to build there. Yet again, another attempt to build there. But it's quite interesting when you lay a Frederick map over that, right? there is a lot of Frederick that weaves up to that northern star, even though the new facility's address hopefully would say Firestone on it based on where the star's sitting right now. But just showing not only would our goal of that 10-minute drive for 95% be met by many Frederick residents, it would be much less than that 10-minute drive as well, even though it sits on the other side of the street. This gray area just outlines the district boundary map, and showing if I heat another map over that of the drive, the current rec center misses quite a bit of the northern residents of our district for that 10-minute drive, where that star in Central Park really addresses that goal of ours for the northern side of the Parks and Rec district more specifically. This is the current rec center down here in Frederick. Some myths and misleading information when we tried to go to the ballot the last time was we were closing this rec center to build a new rec center in a different town. And that wasn't true then, it's not true now. One of our updates that we've done for this round is actually about $12 million, $13 million of renovation to the current rec center. So hope would be to use as much square footage as we possibly can. We're landlocked with 2 roads and a neighborhood. So we brought an architect in and designers in to really look structurally at the rec center, look at the grounds. And this is all conceptual, right? We don't have permits to go build the field back there, and there's some work to be done. But essentially what it's looking at, maybe I'll just point at this one. Is that okay if I walk away from that? Is expanding a bigger fitness room. This is like our front, this is the front doors coming in and the front desk. It's expanding a bigger fitness room, covering some outside area that is just not usable space right now, really. Expanding that to take more fitness class participants who we're turning away daily now when they're showing up because we don't have enough room. Creating a very active teen room where the current fitness studio is now, where like the spin bikes and things are. But I think we share similar things that the teens just don't have much to do in this community. We have the same problems in the rec center. Not all the teens want to come into the rec center and lift weights. They just need somewhere to hang out. So we really want to address that and give them a place they want to hang out. So it would be off the gym and attached to the gym. With the gym, building an auxiliary gym off the back and to the staff parking lot to give us another gym space. Just like Fields Gym, we're needing more and more gym space, but they're not being built. Even when the schools are coming online, or current schools, the schools are using their gyms more and more, meaning we have less and less to use it. That's nothing against the schools. There's just the population of our youth is growing so fast. Expanding the track, so going out over the auxiliary gym and making the track a little bit longer as well. Maybe doing like a little turf for out back for our soccer and t-ball, keeping it at the rec center with a restroom. What walls can we bring down in the rec center? We have some weird closets that serve as offices right now. So if we were able to get some staff in some different spaces, could we remove those offices, bring walls down, make it more open, the flow of air, the flow of patrons, also more square footage to get more equipment in there. Right now, conceptually, we're just showing that possibly we could remove the racquetball court. Every 30 minutes for the last 2.5 years, we're taking head counts in every single space of the rec center, just seeing what spaces are being used, what's not, what's the hot zones, the hot days, things like that. That's a possibility. And the most exciting part of this would be a new maintenance shop. Right now we have a garage that's had about 4 sheds built onto the end of it, and it's just not conducive to what we need. And then we could get some offices out there to free up a lot of that square footage inside the rec center as well. So that's what our proposal for the current rec center renovations would look like. What we've learned over the years of attempting and using our own studies and Frederick studies and Firestone studies and surveys is we think there's still this big desire for another facility. And the hybrid of a rec center facility mixed with outdoor pool. We hear outdoor pool all the time, but not a big, oversized regional draw of a water park. That was a lesson learned we had a few years ago. But a couple water slides, a lap pool, zero entry area. If you compare like a size of what's being shown here and proposed, it'd be compared to probably like the Lafayette Great Outdoors Water Park in Lafayette for a size-wise. More gym space, more weight room equipment space, again, taking some pressure off, getting a facility more northern. And then the indoor turf is a new concept. We had to drive over an hour south of here on a staff field trip to find anything that was more rec center-y based with indoor turf. And once we got south of Denver, we found one about every 20 minutes and visited about 6 different sites to just see different concepts, different ideas, different programming elements, different do's and don'ts if you're building one. My point being, there's nothing like this north of Denver. Especially the combo of what we're trying to produce here. Batting cages, the indoor turf for soccer, for training, for multitude of things. So this is what is going to be, well, everyone probably got their little blue books. This is kind of explaining what's on some of what ours is. No one likes property taxes. We are only funded through property taxes and user fees. And this is our way. We can't go build those things with a savings account. We just don't have that type of funding. So what does this mean for the property owner? What they will be voting on would be for every $100,000 of their value, it's $2.55 a month with today's value. So $30.61 a year per 100,000. The average Carbon Valley Parks and Rec District home is $530,000. So it would be $163 a year is what the ask is going to be in November for the average house, for the average home in Carbon Valley. I know it's an average. There's houses a lot more than that. There's houses that are less than that. But about round up to $31 per $100,000 is what the ballot measure is actually saying. So this is actually the ballot measure. Again, I'm not here to persuade any votes whatsoever, but we are 6C on the ballot. And essentially what I'm trying to do here is just explain what a 30-year would look like on such a thing, and then it's going to be broken out into those three main amenities that we're hoping to get passed as the remodel of the current rec center, the build of that new facility, the new facilities are separated out. It's kind of the aquatics side of it, and then the activity side of it, and then the yes and the no's. Something we've been trying to educate a lot of our seniors over at the community center is just about the senior tax exemption as well. This passes or doesn't. There's a lot of seniors that didn't know about this. So it is through Weld County, and I put this on here just to show that we are trying to work a lot with our senior population. We're seeing so many of them through our own doors, knowing that they're typically the ones on the fixed income as well, of ensuring that they know some of these incentives and how they can qualify and how they can even go on and apply for the senior exemption. So just in closing, just a few takeaways. Being a resident of our district has a lot of benefits. We're trying to hit that goal of a 10-minute drive for 95%. Keeping residents in the community is interesting. One of our marketing staff did a birthday party in Lafayette, and she actually tallied up all her receipts, and she spent nearly $800 in Lafayette to have her birthday party outside of this community. She lives in this community. Outside of this community, between the rental of the pool, the cake, the balloons, all the things that went into hosting her kid's birthday party in Lafayette. So really trying to have those opportunities and being able to keep Frederick funds in Frederick and in the Carbon Valley, increasing our ability to serve. Unfortunately, this coming year is unfortunately, we have to have caps on our registrations, especially for the youth sports this coming year. Meaning we're gonna be turning a lot of people away. We just don't have the space to just keep growing and growing and growing and take everybody past the deadline or past a certain mark. So we need to increase our ability to serve the community. Being centered in Frederick and dedicated to continuing with our residents here in Frederick. The residents do get lower fees. They get priority registration. We are here. We're trying to take care of what we have now instead of just go build everything brand new. Trying to listen. Throughout all of our renditions the last couple of elections, we've made tweaks from listening of some of the reasons why not, why no. And we feel like we really came back this time. We're hopeful with a presidential election that voter turnout is going to be high. Turns out, learned the hard way, last time we tried to pass this, we did it in our own election. And I won't ask, but most people don't even know there's a special election or a special districts election happens in May. No one's looking for an election in May. Our voter turnout was really, really low as well. So, if voter turnout's high and this thing is still a no, we definitely have heard from the community at that point, and we'll feel more confident of, okay, now we got to go way back to the drawing board and how are we going to try to do things. But we definitely need programming for all ages and spaces. And then just staying informed. Our website has all of our updated information about just everything we do, from our services to the upcoming November of staying informed, making sure folks know the facts and not just listening to next door and people trying the hard no's. We know there's going to be no's. We're just hoping we get a good turnout. And then just keeping our relationship working together. I think Brian and I have a great working relationship. Our staff have great working relationships, maybe stronger than it's ever been. So just continuing to move forward together is a huge goal of the districts as well. And then if there was just any questions.
You guys, is there state or federal grants that can come into play for something like this?
There
Have that been
definitely
worked out?
there's definitely are, but just not enough, right? Like the grants come into place when we're building a facility like that and want to make a playground better, or I think we can probably take better use of our grants and do things together as the two governmental agencies and like the Frederick activity recreation area and things like
I just
that.
thought, seeing that seniors thing, that there could be potentially something that way, and that at least we're looking at all of that to try to lessen the
Yes.
load on the table.
Weld County, we get quite a few grants through Weld County to run some of our programming over at the community center, especially because they're tailored towards some senior
It
programming.
doesn't really include building stuff.
Not usually, yeah, or not near enough.
Any other questions? Or?
Thanks for presenting.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for.
So much for having me, and yeah, just let Brian know if you have questions, or let me know. I can leave some cards here with Brian if y'all want to at least take one with you. But thanks for having me. Appreciate all the support and the partnership we have with the town of Frederick. It's really, really good, and I mean that. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. All right, we will move on to public comment. This portion of the agenda is provided to allow members of the audience to provide comments to the Board of Trustees. Please sign in and you will be called if your comments or concerns require an action. That item or items will need to be placed on a later agenda. Please limit the time of your comments to 3 minutes. And we have Gil and Cheryl. Come on down. Oh,
She said he kicked me, but these are being recorded, so you have to know that she had a smile on her face, and she was teasing that. Anyway, Cheryl has a statement. She says, "What about snow buddies? We are well aware that the availability of volunteers for a snow buddy program is down to nil. However, the need for snow shoveling is growing exponentially. The census says that the town of Frederick, not Carbon Valley, as was mentioned earlier, Frederick has an estimated population of a little over 15,000 warm bodies, with about 1,388 of us being over the age of 65. He, not me. People, you must understand, we are growing older, living longer. We are eating up our children's inheritance. Okay. We need a snow shoveling program to help our seniors. Per AI, the average annual snowfall in Frederick, Colorado is 37 inches. Colorado's annual average snowfall is 219. So, she says it doesn't snow often or a lot any given time, but when it does, you seriously don't want to see Mr. Stud out shoveling in his bathrobe. So, so I don't know if she means that she's all into safety. So I don't know if she is concerned about me shoveling in snow in my bathrobe, or if she's worried about the neighbors going blind if they see me in my bathrobe. So yeah, that's up to you. Anyway, she continues. I know Public Works has the snow plowers out every snowstorm, so why can't they extend the duties to include seniors, sidewalks, and accessible pathways? I would be willing to pay a little extra in my water bill to get our sidewalks plowed the 3 to 4 times it snows. Also, someone has suggested asking local churches to help with volunteers, and that's what she has. Do you want to add anything to that? I need feedback, she said. Right now?
I think reaching out to some of these other organizations would be a good way to get that volunteered. If there's a program out there that we could, it's like you said, there's programs, it's just getting the volunteers. And so I think it's finding the right place to get those volunteers.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, we'll reach out to some of the contacts that we have with some of the larger churches and see if they'd be willing to take it on and an opportunity there.
Thank you.
What about, don't seniors have to do public service hours to graduate?
That's a good question.
Can we roll something in there? Where it's-
No, not seniors, like over 60.
High school seniors.
The other seniors.
And I jotted down some notes. Because I know our student council and other school programs are looking for activities. So I think if they had an external place that they could plug into or that we could direct people, that might be helpful.
Miners Day was fun.
Oh, good.
She enjoyed that.
She made it. I thought I saw you there.
I was with the Burrows.
Oh,
And the miniature burros, we call them burritos. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, staff reports.
Yes, I'm gonna start off with, I just want to celebrate with the team. That's partly why we have the cookies here, the Savvy Award. So I'm gonna have Renee come up. This is a huge deal. And there's, after that, I've got two other just very quick things I'm gonna hit on, more of celebration with the team. But this is an important, another milestone. It's a national award, and I'll let Renee speak to it so I don't take away
I
the
would love
thunder.
for my team to join me. That was Zach's cue to come out of the closet as well.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Brown and trustees. Thank you so much for having the communications team here tonight to share a national award that the town was recognized with at the recent 3CMA conference. 3CMA stands for City County Communications and Marketing Association. It's a very well-established group that's very well-respected. And was recently in Arlington, Texas, that Angela attended for training, and the town was honored with a award of excellence for our first ever 2023 Town of Frederick annual report. So we were very happy with that. It means a lot to us because we really feel like the residents of Frederick deserve our best work always. And we feel like this report really exemplified that. So I want to thank Angela and Zach and Jessica for all of their hard work. It's really a team effort, the things that we're able to do. And I also want to thank the board for your continued confidence in our team and support that allow us to do what we do. So the award's over there. I'll go grab it.
While she's grabbing it, just that's so awesome. And
Yes.
just with all the events, and I saw Zach playing like volleyball with a bunch of kids at Miners Day and having a lot of fun and doing the video for the recruitment for the PD. Thank you for doing that, even though I was grumbling when you made me shake hands like 3 times to get the right officers. But Jessica and Angela and Zach, just all the things that you do, those events are hours and hours and hours beyond what we show up and see. So, and it was a great annual report too. So,
This is the Award of Excellence Printed Publication Annual Reports, Town of Frederick 2023 Annual Report. It says City of Frederick, we'll get that fixed. Town of Frederick, Colorado, September 5th, 2025, through the City County Communications and Marketing Association. So we just wanted to share that with you this evening.
Congratulations, team.
Thank you. Thank you
And if
very
any
much.
of my team wants to say something, you're welcome to.
At least give us your favorite movie.
Uh-oh. He started thinking.
Let's do it.
I was just gonna say there were 72 entries for the award from across the nation.
Wow.
Cool.
That's pretty
I
cool.
thought that was pretty.
Vale
Yeah, it is.
was in the winning category, as well as, was it Georgia?
Yep.
Georgia.
Excellent.
Oh,
Frederick is living up to impressive.
bet. Outstanding.
You gonna say your favorite thing?
I was gonna say,
Do it.
the Monuments Men.
Oh, that is a good
Perfect. I like that movie.
one. Good one. Yeah,
Very serious.
very good movie.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Good. Thank
Excellent
you.
work.
And of course, I know Renee is humble, but there was a year worth of planning and creating and developing of such report. So it's a huge deal. In addition to that, I also want to celebrate a team. I know they're not here. I'm not going to get into the names, but just in particular, obviously with the event this weekend, this is important just because it shows community impact. But the engineering department, economic development department, public works and communication. So we had a right of way. It's for the new archery business that's being built in Meadowlark Park to plug into the water system, and the team worked. The end result is, in order to do that, water needed to be shut off for a number of hours, and so from economic development going and meeting with all the businesses potentially impacted to find out when the best time is to do this, to economic development also figuring out, hey, we've got to do this the right way. We got to understand community impact, which is something we've been talking about over the last couple of months, to communications, putting that information out, to engineering, really working to find a way to make this happen. The end result is that we had a number of team members that came in and adjusted their shifts and pretty much worked all through the night. And this was a flawless example and a huge win to the community because the businesses didn't even really see an impact. That's huge. That's community impact. And I just wanted to thank the team members for sacrificing the time with their family and their schedules and doing things that are uncomfortable or inconvenient to serve the greater good of the town of Frederick and the businesses. So huge thank you to them. I'll send more of a larger email with the team members, but it wasn't just, I mean, you've got 4 departments and they all work together to solve this. And I think the public needs to understand that. That's a big win. And then just a quick update in regards to economic development. We are working on planning for the 2nd annual Business Awards event, November 13th, so put it on the calendars. I don't know the time yet, but we'll have more details. This is a premier event. I think the team did set the bar very high last year, and it definitely got some really good traction in terms of notoriety to the town of Frederick. And again, that included about every single department taking hand in not only planning for that, but at the actual event and cleaning up the event. So we're excited for that. And with that, I'll take any questions.
No questions for me.
How long before the archery is gonna be?
They're just putting up the steel frame right now. So I'd probably imagine 3 to 6 months before it's open.
So maybe
If not
by
longer.
spring
Yeah,
next year?
yeah.
Great. Super. Well done.
My only quick question, where do we display the awards when we get them? I'd love to see that either at least be something that we can publicly display for people to see what the amazing staff here is accomplishing and be able to celebrate that on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. We can find a place. I know we have some awards over here and some awards, but we can find a formal place.
Yeah, I'd love to find a central place that we can,
Absolutely.
when people come in here and they see what you guys are doing, because it's just outstanding.
Be nice to have it in here or in the lobby at least, because you want the community seeing that we're being recognized, or the staff is being recognized for the efforts that they do.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about looking at that, one of the walls over there in the foyer, in the lobby.
Yeah.
I think last year you and I kind of kicked
Yeah.
it around. That would be, I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get
We
something
should
together.
feel good about patting ourselves on the back because y'all deserve it. So we need to get it out there so the people can see just how fortunate they are to have you all working for them. So
The signs of more good things to come, I'm sure.
good.
All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and vote. There will be no separate discussion of consent agenda items unless a board member so requests, in which case that item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered at the end of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion for that?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Trustee Padilla?
Yes.
Trustee March?
Yes.
Trustee DeValley?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Lamont?
Yes.
Trustee Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, and now on to the action agenda. So we have letter H, and is that gonna be Colby for that one? All right, come on down.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and trustees. I'm bringing forward tonight ordinance 1397, which regards the Parks and Open Space Fund and the Golf Enterprise Fund. Our tie to the strategic plan is this ordinance will continue the board's strategic goal of financial sustainability, particularly at Bella Rosa Golf Course, and transparency, and adheres to financial best management practices. We discussed this back on July 23rd in a work session. This ordinance has 3 actions tied to it. It will dissolve the Parks Fund and the Open Space Fund and creates the Parks and Open Space Fund. And the purpose of that is to bring the budget structure in line with the voter-approved Initiative 2C from the fall of 2023. Did I hit that or did you? Okay, here we go. It's jumping all over the place. And the third action is it dissolves the Golf Enterprise Fund, and all those assets would transfer to the general fund. And the purpose of that is it follows best financial practices as recommended by town staff and our third-party auditor, who is John Cutler and Associates. So that first action, that really dealt with Initiative 2C from last fall. That modified the 1999 open space half-cent sales tax to allow it to be used for the construction, maintenance, and acquisition of parks, trails, and related amenities in addition to open spaces. The language at the bottom of this slide is what mirrors from the ordinance itself. It's basically the shortest way we could take the existing 2 or 3 paragraphs of those funds and put them into its most simplest form. This action also dissolves the Golf Enterprise Fund, and again, that comes at the recommendation of the town treasurer, the third-party town auditor, and all of the town administration and staff. We will still have a great deal of transparency on the golf funding itself, because within the general fund, it will be its own department, just in the budget structure, not in actual practicality or in operations. But people will be able to see what is being spent and what is being earned at that particular location. And I'd also just want to point out again that our operational subsidy at the golf course has been reduced just under 70% in the last 3 years. So for your strategic plan goal of making those operations more financially sustainable, we are tracking in an excellent direction. For community impact, there's not really a big direct impact on our neighbors. This is more of an indirect impact. It increases operational efficiencies by a little bit for staff by not having as many funds running around. It's more about maintaining those financial best management practices and transparency. Our staff recommendation is the highlighted item. It is to approve ordinance 1397 as drafted, and I will entertain any questions.
Questions?
Is that the easiest presentation you've done?
Pretty straightforward.
Good. I like that.
Sounded easy.
All right. There's no questions, then just need some direction.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown, I move to approve ordinance number 1397, updating the Town of Frederick Municipal Code regarding parks and open space funds and the golf course enterprise.
Second.
Trustee Mahan?
Yes.
Trustee March?
Yes.
Trustee Lamont?
Yes.
Trustee Padilla?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
Yes.
Trustee DeValley?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colby.
All right, and Christine.
Good evening. Hopefully this one will be even easier.
Ooh.
I like that.
Excellent.
Yes.
So this is an ordinance amending the municipal code regarding the regulation of weeds and brush. It comports with the strategic plan because it does enable innovation and flexibility in the management of open spaces within the town. And this in particular includes private open spaces. The amendments will allow for best management practices that the code doesn't necessarily currently allow for. In particular, we have received interest from developers in having more sophisticated types of plant management in their developments, such as phasing that would require, for proper implementation, weeds that are higher than are allowed in the code while they're working through getting all of the plants established. And I know that might not be the best example because we're not huge fans of weeds, but we do have a pending management plan that is excellent and pretty sophisticated. We've also gone ahead and updated the definition of weeds and regarding the regulation of noxious weeds, just to make sure it's super, super clear. And then, as I was saying before, this provides for the town being able to enter into agreements if a developer or a property owner does want to propose something to allow alternative management of these open spaces. And here are your action options. The person who was probably the most instrumental in assisting me in this happens to be in this room, Colby. So if you have questions more about on the management side, I'm sure he would be very excited to assist. Thanks. I'm just very glad you're here, Colby.
So Mike, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, on the ground, what does this mean? Like, give us some examples.
Yeah, so the best way to explain this is it gives us the ability as staff, if we have a developer approach us that wants to manage basically an unirrigated open space in a little bit different manner, we can work with them to create a management agreement that allows them to like phase certain management in. So if they've taken a newly seeded area, they can kind of take a certain amount of time to get that grown in, where we're not going right out and just mowing it off and killing those desirable native grasses before they have a chance to mature and spread out. It certainly doesn't just allow every field to be completely weeds or anything like that, but it allows them to have things like mow strips along sidewalks, fire lines along residential areas or commercial or any other structure. But it really gives us the ability to allow those open spaces to mature and thrive so that we're not basically going right in and just killing those taller grasses by mowing them constantly right out of the gate.
Okay.
Another
question.
added benefit, as we've heard this summer in some instances, concerns with prairie dogs and things. Having some of the taller native grasses actually discourages prairie dog colonies from moving into those areas. So the irony is, typically speaking, everybody likes nice mowed areas. Not everybody likes prairie dogs. And so the two things kind of exacerbate each other if we don't. So the default is if a developer doesn't want to go through the work of creating a plan that we can enforce and hold them accountable to, the default of the code still applies.
That works for me.
Answered my question.
Right? Any other questions? Good one.
One quick one. I mean, would you be the only person that would be able to enforce that management thing? I mean, is the plan pretty easy to understand where anybody that knows a little bit could do it?
Yeah, so the agreement itself is written with very strict language of how it would be enforced, the mechanisms for that. But the management side of it, anybody can understand it. I don't know what she put in the ordinance because I don't understand that kind of stuff. But the maintenance agreement, it's really easy. And that way, any landscaper that picks that up, whether the developer uses their original install guy or the later on, they can pick that up and very easily understand
It's not going to be a problem if it passes and they take 3 years before they do anything. And now nobody knows what the hell that means.
Yep. No. The agreement itself is very good. These guys wrote that side of it, and the actual maintenance stuff should be able to be understood by any layman.
And unlike our past arrangements where we have a 4 or 5 paragraph one pager that is very ambiguous, this is going to come with.
Or the person who wrote it has to be there to explain what it is.
got a lot more detail and meat to them.
But it offers flexibility as well if there's an alternative
Like flex,
prairie that somebody wants to install, that we can have a lot of cool different things installed around town.
uses less water and benefits all kinds
Good
of.
one. I like it.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions, some direction.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown, I would like to move to approve ordinance number 1398. 1398, amending the town's municipal code, chapter 7, article 2, for weeds, brush, and rubbish.
Second. Trustee DeValdi,
Yes.
Trustee Lamont,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Padilla,
Yes.
Trustee Mahan,
Yes.
Trustee March.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, thank you. Mayor and trustee reports. Anything to report?
I have a question. I missed the Shine Prom thing. Didn't that just happen?
That was Friday.
Anybody
Friday,
go?
and it was great.
Oh, great.
And I went to the Shine.
Usually I see pictures, but I didn't see anything posted. But
That's the church that has that, but
okay.
it was a good event. Much like the past events in the Shine Prom, it was a lot of individuals dancing, having a good time, doing events, playing games, and there was a room for the adults or the caregivers to relax in, and they had bingo and gave away prizes and that. It was, in my opinion, a little less crowded this year than in past, but it was a good event. And I talked to several caregivers about it, and they enjoy the fact that they could go and relax and have a good dinner. I mean, I think they had, much like they did the soup and sandwiches from Zoop, cakes from other, I don't know where, but, and then lemonade and water. But it was good. It was a good event.
Thank you for going and representing us.
No problem. I enjoy it.
Busy weekend, but it's good.
Busy weekend, and just I'll continue. I want to thank everybody who participated in the event on Saturday, Miners Day, from the speeches in the morning that were given by Trustee March, and the events, the carts I thought were, the golf carts were well decorated, and that it was fun. And I saw a lot of people out there, a lot of residents, and even the new judge was at the event, and I thought that was a good start and a good step.
I do think that next year we should really look into the dentists in town supporting us decorating our golf carts, since we throw at least 50 cavities worth of candy out.
Oh yeah, they got it.
A little kickback for keeping them in business. I don't have anything else. I think it was a good one. Got a busy couple months ahead of us here, so we'll enjoy an early night while we can and be ready to dig in for some harder stuff in the next couple weeks.
I do want to mention one thing. I saw a posting on Facebook. I don't remember who put it on there about the possibility that the fireworks show is going to be moved to the our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, our parade of lights, whatever we want to say. And there were a lot of people on there that said that they thought that would be very exciting to see that. And so if they are going to continue to do that, that'd be a good idea, I think.
It's a fun time of year for fireworks when it's cold.
Yep.
It works nice.
It'd be kind of cool with the tree and everything else. It'd be kind of awesome to do that. So,
Everyone expects it in the summer. No one expects it in the winter.
there you So we can get complaints about how loud they are in the winter.
Oh,
Sneak it on up.
you have a update for us on that one?
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem and trustees. Great comment, Dan, and that is in the contract with our fireworks, that our backup date is the Festival of Lights, December 7th this year. So we just want to make sure all our i's are crossed and t's are dotted before we announce it.
Thank you.
Yeah, just making sure.
Fantastic.
But that's the plan.
Great. Thank you, Angela.
All right. If there's nothing else, then let's adjourn.
Ring the bell.
Ding. I put the bell away already.
I have something. Something to signify adjournment. Gavels.
Bang, bang.